in a supporting
All right.
role. Kareen Hines in Belfast.
Okay, good.
Troy Kotzer in Coda.
Did Jared Leto not get nominated?
Jesse Plemons in the
Yes! Jared Leto! Fuck you! Fuck you!
being the Ricardo.
What?
And Cody Smith-McPhee in Power of the Dog.
Okay, I'm still very confused right now. Hey guys, man, today is one of those days of the year. Every time it comes around, I get up early and I watch the nominations to the Oscars get announced live. And while I didn't necessarily record my full reaction, even though there's a few audio snippets, I just kind of want to go over the nominations and talk about, how I feel about them and just, certain categories. Obviously, I'm not going to go over every category because, the short stuff, I'm not, nobody's really seen those, so you got to give people time if they even want to watch it. But still, yeah, I think overall, there were some really nice surprises, and there were some really big snubs. But also, there was some really great moments that I was so happy for people who didn't get nominated. I know I sound like I'm being a little bit of a poop head, but that's how I feel, so let's just get right into it. Alright, starting off with Best Visual Effects, we have Dune, Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Really no surprises here, except some people thought The Matrix was going to get nominated. This is Dune's award, and you'd be crazy to think otherwise. Just look at it literally some of the best visual effects I've ever seen in my life, bar to none. It's going to Dune. Alright, and for Best Film Editing, we have Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, The Power of the Dog, and Tick, Tick, Boom. Very happy to see Tick, Tick, Boom make this list. I thought it moved, besides, especially some structuring issues, which was more, in pacing issues, it was more of a Lin-Manuel Miranda thing, being a first-time director. I thought the editing was so snappy. There was some really great invisible cuts that happened throughout the entire thing, and it just flowed pretty seamlessly in that sense. Belfast, was that nominated? Let me check. I might have just skipped over that. Belfast should have been in there, as far as I'm concerned. Not a huge snub, but King Richard is one of those movies that just kind of moves along. But I don't think it's one of those movies where you necessarily say, oh yeah, this should be nominated for editing. But obviously it's not egregious like Bohemian Rhapsody getting nominated or even winning. But whatever. But really the big snub here is West Side Story. Like, what the actual hell? That deserved a win. And I do not know what the Academy, or at least the editing branch of the Academy, were thinking not nominating that. And it's Spielberg, it's a Spielberg film. I believe, did Michael Kahn edit it? Let me check. Yeah, he did edit it. And this guy is one, I believe he had one for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then Schindler's List as well, and Saving Private Ryan. So it's kind of strange that they wouldn't nominate him in this category. He's an absolute veteran in the field, and he's made, he's helped edit together some of the greatest movies ever made. And I think West Side Story is some of, up there with some of his best work in regards to the way it was cut together. So really a huge snub. And of course, French Dispatch was, which I'll get it right out of the way, was snubbed across the board. Ridiculous the editing wasn't here. The editing is so predicated on how that movie works. So really, really big snub. Overall, though, I think these nominations are pretty solid. I'll probably be rooting for Tick, Tick, Boom in this category. Now, for Best Cinematography, we have Greg Fraser for Dune, Dan Lawston for Nightmare Alley, Ari Wegner for The Power of the Dog, Bruno Del Bono for The Tragedy of Macbeth, and Janusz Kaminski for West Side Story. I think that whoever shot Belfast, I'm blanking on the name, should have been in there. But then again, so should have Robert Yeoman for The French Dispatch, which I think was the best shot movie of the year. Just putting it out there. And I just don't understand why that's not there. But obviously, it lost a lot of momentum. I think this has to go to Dune. Just because of how technical it is, and just every frame in that movie is like a painting almost. But then again, it could easily go to the tragedy of Macbeth, which I just think is so stunning. The way that movie is shot, it's very expressionistic, and it really feels like it kind of goes beyond the limitations that a Shakespeare adaptation would usually do, and really just a beautiful, beautiful film to look at. That's why I like the tragedy of Macbeth as much as I do, is because of that. And West Side Story, obviously, Janusz Kaminski. Like I was saying about Michael Kahn, but except Janusz Kaminski actually got in. West Side Story was just so beautifully shot, and I mean, just look at that shot of them coming in to the Rumble, the Jets and the Sharks. I mean, it is just brilliant. So, yeah, they're definitely missing a few here, but I think overall this is a solid category. Surprised to see Nightmare Alley get in, but then again, not really. So, yeah, that's Best Cinematography. And for Best Production Design, we have Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. So basically the last 5 we just talked about. But still, I mean, yet again, this is where French Dispatch should have won. What the hell are they thinking, not nominating that movie for anything? I mean, I think that's one of Wes Anderson's best movies. I know a lot of people may disagree with me, but I absolutely loved it. And even if you didn't, you gotta respect the technicals behind it. And it absolutely dumbfounds me that they were like, oh yeah, let's leave that out completely. Because it at least deserves some of the technical nominations. Absolutely ridiculous. I think Belfast should be in here as well. But obviously West Side Story had to be in there. Same thing. Well, Tragedy of Macbeth could have been left out, honestly, but I as I was saying with the cinematography, the way it's crafted really kind of brings it up a notch. And Nightmare Alley, that makes sense, absolutely. Power of the Dog, for sure. I thought Spencer should have gotten in. Just the way they created that, that Victorian England landscape, and with the castle and everything, just the detail, the articulate detail. In that movie, to the period of England royalty in the 1980s. So I don't know why that wasn't in there, but I think with this one it's going to be Dune again. It's just because Dune is so technical, and it's just how they built that world. Because that's really the most interesting thing about Dune, is the world itself. And so yeah, Dune's going to win it. I'm not even going to question that. All right, for best sound we have Belfast, Dune, No Time to Die, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. Yeah, it's a good set of nominees. I'm not really sure why. Well, actually, no, I know why Belfast is in there, and that's fine. No Time to Die. I mean, it's a very action-oriented film, and Bond's ears go out like 2 times, and for some reason he's not deaf. But that's another story. I do understand why it is there, obviously. West Side Story, absolutely. I mean, just there's so many crisp sound effects that they put in there that make the film feel so much more vibrant, than it already is. So I absolutely think that could be a contender to win. Actually, no. What am I saying? Dune's going to win. Yet again, I mean, that is the best designed film sound-wise that I heard all year. So I think far and away it's Dune's award once again. Dune is going to sweep up all these technical categories. Alright, and for Best Original Song category I'm very excited about, we have Be Alive from King Richard, music and lyrics by Beyonce and Dixon. Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, music and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Down to Joy from Belfast, music and lyrics by Van Morrison. No Time to Die from No Time to Die, music and lyrics by Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell. And Somehow You Do from 4 Good Days, music and lyrics by Diane Warren. Very interesting category. To me, the most standout thing about this category is how many legends, musical legends, are in this. You literally have Lin-Manuel Miranda, Beyonce, Van Morrison, and Billie Eilish all in the same category. And then you can throw Diane Warren there as well. But really, I mean, wow. Van Morrison, especially Van Morrison, Beyonce, and Billie Eilish. What a combo. I think at some point they're all going to be musical legends, and most of them are already. But I would be remiss to say that this is anyone else's award besides Billy and Phineas's. I mean, it is the best song I've heard in any movie in 2021, and I think one of the best Bond themes of all time. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Billie Eilish stan or anything. Like, I genuinely think it is that good. So, very happy to see them get nominated. I'm expecting them to win come Oscar night. Alright, for Best Original Score, the nominees are Nicholas Britell for Don't Look Up, Hans Zimmer for Dune, Germaine Franco for Encanto, Alberto Iglesias for Parallel Mothers, and Johnny Greenwood for The Power of the Dog. You know, I really thought Johnny Greenwood should have been nominated for Spencer. It was a very cool avant jazz score, which, I mean, you know, what to be expected from Johnny Greenwood of Radiohead. It's cool though that he's nominated. Obviously, he's a very, acclaimed composer in his own right. I still been trying to get to see Parallel Mothers. Ran into a few problems this week with that, but I was very surprised to see that. So I'm definitely going to check that out. Encanto, yeah, it's a musical. I'm not really surprised about that. I think Nicholas Britell's work in Don't Look Up was really solid. Honestly, I thought Hans Zimmer should have been nominated twice too for No Time to Die. His score to that was really great. But yet again, I mean, you got to give it to Hans Zimmer for Dune. I mean, it is the best score he's done in years. And I think this is going to be his first win since The Lion King back in 1994, even before I was born. So, very much looking forward to that. I don't think there were too many big snubs besides Johnny Greenwood. But then again, Johnny Greenwood's already in there. So, I'm not really going to push that. But yeah, overall, I'd say a solid category. Alright, so for Best Documentary Feature, the nominees are Ascension, Attica, Flea, Summer of Soul, and Writing with Fire. Now, this is going to be tough because Summer of Soul obviously has gotten Questlove a lot of recognition, and it is a really good film, especially, all the musical legends that are in it, but I haven't seen it yet, and I really want to because I have a feeling it might make my top 10 of the year. I think this is Flea's category to win. It's nominated in 2 other categories, and I don't know when a documentary's ever been nominated in that many categories. So I think, just the whole animation thing, the way it was done, I still have to see it. I'm very excited to watch it. Maybe I'll even do a review of it if I feel compelled to, but I think that's going to be the one to win it. And overall a solid category though. I don't really see any glaring omissions, or at least not any I'm thinking of right now. And now we get to Best Animated Feature Film, and the nominees are Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and Raya the Last Dragon. So I think, this is like the least surprising category out of all these. I knew all these movies were getting nominated. They're all here, so no surprises there. But I think, even though it didn't do super well at the box office, I think Encanto's gained so much steam. I think it's going to get Disney yet again another Academy Award in this category. And it is really good. I personally prefer Mitchells vs. the Machines over that. And yeah, as I just said, I haven't seen Flea yet. So that might be the number one. But I think just how the Academy is going to vote, they're going to give it to Encanto. And I guess that's fine. And for Best International Feature Film, we have Drive My Car for Japan, Flea for Denmark, The Hand of God for Italy, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom by Bhutan, and The Worst Person in the World for Norway. I don't know what the Yak movie is, and I'm kind of surprised it got in because I thought Asghar Farhadi's a hero. I was going to make it. He's beloved by the Academy. He won a few years ago for his last movie, which was kind of like a big FU to Trump, basically, which is why it probably won. But I watched some of it. It was really good from what I remember. But I think easily this is Drive My Car. We'll get into it later, but it got into Best Picture. If a film like that gets in the Best Picture, it's winning International Feature by default. And I think it is just fantastic. It's one of the best movies of 2021. I'm going to review it at some point, but yeah, no question in my mind that Drive My Car is taking this award home. And now, with Best Original Screenplay, the nominees are Belfast by Kenneth Branagh, Don't Look Up, written by Adam McKay, story by Adam McKay and David Sirota, King Richard, written by Zach Balan, Licorice Pizza, written by Paul Thomas Anderson, and The Worst Person in the World, written by Eskil Vogt and Joachim Trier. This was the last one, especially Worst Person in the World, is very surprising. A very good movie if you haven't checked it out. But I don't know, like, you could have thrown French Dispatch in there, give Wes Anderson a nod. But really, I mean, I think that this is going to be Kenneth Branagh's award to lose, even though, as much as I love Licorice Pizza and Paul Thomas Anderson, I definitely think that he's taking the award home. And I'm very surprised that Aaron Sorkin didn't make it in this category, because he's like, you know, maybe the greatest screenwriter alive, but obviously Being the Ricardos wasn't his best movie, and but then again, it's represented in other categories, which we'll get into. So I think this is a fair category overall, even though I'd put some, you know, in there like I just said. But yeah, I think Kenneth Branagh should win, and justifiably so. Alright, now, for Best Adapted Screenplay, the nominees are Coda, screenplay by Sean Hayter, Drive My Car, screenplay by Ryosuke Hamaguchi, and Takamasa Oi, Dune, screenplay by John Spathis, if that's how you say it, Denis Villeneuve and Eric Roth, Lost Daughter, screenplay by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and Power of the Dog, screenplay by Jane Campion. I feel like there's something that is missing in this category, and I'm not sure what it is. Let me get back to you on that. Oh yeah, I definitely thought Tick Tick Boom should have made it into that category. That was a little strange to me, but regardless, you know, besides that, I completely understand, like, well, actually, Dune, I don't know, I guess Dune is in there because it was the best adaptation of that film, and as much as I've been singing the technical praises of Dune, it's a really good movie. I don't think that screenplay warrants getting nominated. Just because you made a better adaptation than anybody else could have doesn't necessarily make it the best screenplay of the year. I would have thrown in, well, if it were up to me, I would have thrown In the Heights in there, but even so, Lin-Manuel obviously has gotten a lot of love this award season, so the fact that Tick Tick Boom or In the Heights is not in there, I mean, it is what it is, but I was just so happy to see Drive My Car in there. Got so excited when I heard that announced, because I had a feeling it was going to sneak into screenplay, and there it went. And honestly, if it were up to me, I would probably give it to Coda or Drive My Car, but I think Jane Campion might just win this category again. I think Power of the Dog is, you know, whether I like it or not, it's probably going to sweep the whole award circuit. So yeah, that's just kind of what I'm predicting right now. Alright, now we're getting to the big categories here. First, with Best Supporting Actress, we have Jessie Buckley in The Lost Daughter, Ariana DeBose in West Side Story, Judi Dench in Belfast, Kirsten Dunst in The Power of the Dog, and Anjanou Ellis in King Richard. This was like one of the most surprising categories to me, because Ruth Negga was getting a lot of praise, and she was really on the come up, I thought, for a nomination. And of course, the fact that both Martha Plimpton and Ann Dowd were snubbed for Mass once again by another voting body is absolutely ridiculous, because I think Martha Plimpton especially gives one of the absolute best performances of the year. I think it's absolutely asinine that everybody's looked over this movie. Just one of those Sundance movies that I guess lost the buzz in a way that some movie like Coda didn't. But really, really shocked to see a few of these. Like Jessie Buckley, I wasn't expecting, though she is great in The Lost Daughter, so I understand that. But Judi Dench over Catriona Balfe for Belfast? Because, yeah, I mean, Judi Dench, of course, we're talking about Dame Judi Dench. She's Oscar-worthy in this movie. I mean, certainly better than the movie she won for. But, you know, over Catriona Balfe, she seemed like such a steady frontrunner in this category. Like, she seemed like a shoo-in to get nominated. And I think she was the best part of Belfast. If it were up to me, I would have had her win the award. I think that's one of the biggest snubs, easily, was not having her in this category. But, you know, they love Judi Dench. I mean, she's just, you know, one of the best. So they gotta throw praise her way, I guess. I think this is Ariana DeBose's award to lose, though. I mean, really, she is just... yet again, Anita from West Side Story is getting all the buzz. Like Rita Moreno back in 1961 won the award for playing the same role. And I think history is going to repeat itself in that sense. So, yeah. That's what supporting actors... But really, they could have even nominated Olga Merediz from In the Heights, which I knew wasn't going to happen, but that was really a passion pick of mine. But yet again, Anjanou Ellis, can't go wrong there. Kirsten Dunst, I think, is very good in that movie, but I think her performance is a little overrated, if you ask me. I hope she doesn't win over Ariana DeBose, because if I had to pick, that's who I'm going with. Now, Best Supporting Actor. Whoa! This is quite the category here, as you could probably tell from my reaction that I put at the beginning of this video. But, for Best Supporting Actor, we have Ciarán Hinds in Belfast, Troy Kotsur in Coda, Jesse Plemons in The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons in Being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith-McPhee in The Power of the Dog. Palo and Gucci, nothing in this category. Oh no, what do we do? So glad that Jared Leto is out of here. I'm sorry to you who think his performance is great. It's absolute garbage. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't even know why he was in contention in the first place. I'm so glad the Academy had the right sense to get him out of there and that he was nominated for a Razzie, because he absolutely deserved it. Worst performance of the year. Couldn't be happier that he's not in the category. Whew. That is all off my chest now. So I just gotta say, I don't know why Jesse Plemons is here. Because this is the thing. You could have put on, like, 5 other people before him. You could have put on Bradley Cooper for Licorice Pizza, who steals the entire segment he's in. You could have put in Jamie Dornan for Belfast. But obviously Ciarán Hinds, well, I was going to say Catriona Balfe, they would have given it to her, but obviously they didn't. But Ciarán Hinds is the best performance in Belfast. And I don't know if he's going to win. I'm not really sure about that, but glad to see him nominated, a veteran actor who hadn't been honored before, so very, very good that he's getting the recognition he deserves. And Troy Kotsur is really moving up. He's just so amazing in Coda. And honestly, I think Eugenio Derbez is even better, who plays the teacher in that movie, but really... Troy Kotsur, I would be happy to see him win. I know Cody Smith-McPhee was, you know, the obvious shoo-in, and he could definitely take home the gold come night of the Oscars, but really, I'm betting on Troy Kotsur. I think he has the traction to keep going up. J.K. Simmons was a huge surprise, though, and he's great in Being the Ricardos as William Frawley. I just found it so strange that they put him in over Jamie Dornan and Bradley Cooper. But still, if it's anything to get Jared Leto out of there, I mean, I'm fine with it, whatever. And Jesse Plemons, he really has been building a career for himself over the past few years, so, you know, I guess it makes sense, you know, kind of giving him a nod. J.K. Simmons, you know, Academy Award winner already for Whiplash back in 2014, so... You know, he's one of the most reliable actors in Hollywood, so glad to see him in there. But yeah, I hope Troy Kotsur takes home this award. And now, another very, very contentious and surprising category, Best Actress in a Leading Role. We have Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart in Spencer. So glad to see Kristen Stewart get in. I would have said that she was a front runner to win a while ago. I don't think that anymore because she missed out on the SAG, even the BAFTA, which is crazy because she's playing a figure as heralded as Princess Diana of Wales. So But really, I mean, Kristen Stewart's finally getting the respect she deserves. She's one of the best talents of her generation, and really, after Twilight, really built quite a resume for herself. So really, really glad to see her in there. Nicole Kidman obviously is getting in. I could put 5 other, well, maybe not 5. I could put a few people in over her, especially Emilia Jones for Coda or Rachel Zegler for West Side Story, both newcomers. Alana Haim for Licorice Pizza, but obviously the Academy loves Nicole Kidman. She's a veteran. So, and obviously I do think her performance as Lucille Ball is great, so I'm not upset about her being in there. Penelope Cruz, once again, I'm just surprised that Parallel Mothers didn't get the international feature push, because everybody, Pedro Almodovar is such a widely loved figure in film and just in Spain, and so it's very strange to me that wasn't included. But still, I definitely think that I gotta watch it yet again. I'm trying to get up to the mall to see it, but I don't know, we'll see what happens with my schedule. But really, I'm not surprised she made it in over people like Lady Gaga in House of Gucci. That was a big surprise. So I think this whole category is a bit of a toss-up. But Jessica Chastain, so glad to see her. If it were up to me, I would say that she should win. She hasn't really missed out on any of the big awards except the BAFTA, but the BAFTA had some really whack nominations. So she's just so transformative in that role. Like, literally, you don't see Jessica Chastain. You see Tammy Faye. So Olivia Colman, also great in The Lost Daughter. So I'm really glad to see her get in. She's an Oscar favorite, especially in the past few years. I don't think she should have won for The Favorite, funnily enough. But she got nominated last year for The Father and Best Supporting Actress. And yeah, I mean, she could win it, certainly. I think Nicole Kidman might be the front runner. It's very hard to tell, and that's the beautiful thing about it, is it's really a toss-up of a category. It could be anybody's game, and I feel that about a lot of these nominations. So, good category, even though, some things were left out. I'm happy with the outcome. Now, for Best Actor in a Leading Role, the nominations are Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom, Will Smith in King Richard, and Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth. Really, the only surprise, and I wouldn't even say it was a surprise in this category, was Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, because, yeah, he gets, like, the voice of Desi Arnaz and the mannerisms and stuff, but, like, really? Really? Look, there's, like, 5 other people I would put above him, and one that I was really shocked about, even though I haven't seen the movie, but then again, the campaign dropped so hard, is Peter Dinklage and Cyrano. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I was really hoping for him to get a nomination, because he's really been gaining traction. Leo could have made it in over Javier Bardem, for crying out loud, for Don't Look Up. And so I'm really not sure what the hell is going on in this category, at least for that nomination, but whatever. Javier Bardem is great, and so I guess I'll just accept it. It's better than Jesse Plemons getting nominated for Power of the Dog, but obviously you knew Will Smith, Andrew Garfield, and Benedict Cumberbatch were getting in, and Denzel as well. Just the way he so eloquently phrases Shakespeare's words and just how they just roll off his tongue. It's so impressive. Obviously one of the great thespians in the history of acting. But really, I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch was gaining a lot of traction at the beginning, and he's amazing in The Power of the Dog, so absolutely deserves to be there. Andrew Garfield, up to me. I'd give him the Oscar. Hands down, best performance from last year. But Will Smith is going to take this award. I mean, he's been getting all the nominations. He's been getting most of the wins. And it just, this is like him doing, let me do my Oscar bait movie so I could win an Oscar. And he's great in it. And I'd be happy for Will Smith, because he does deserve it, even though I think Andrew Garfield gave the best performance of the year. So, besides Javier Bardem, not too many surprises in this category, as expected. So yeah, it's Will Smith award to lose, really. And now we get to maybe the snub with the biggest category of this year, and that is Best Director. And the nominees are Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. Where's Denis Villeneuve? Are you out of your damn minds? Like, where is Denis Villeneuve? I mean, regardless of how you feel about Dune, that is one of the best directed movies of the year. That is like a director working at the top of their craft. And you're telling me he's not in? Look, I don't even know. Look, I'm sorry for those of you who love Power of the Dog. It's a really good movie. I don't know why Jane Campion is getting all this love. I really, yeah, I mean, get a nomination. Like, she's probably going to go on to win, alright? That's basically predetermined. But, like, I would easily put in all these guys over her. I really do feel that way. And I'm sorry to those of you who love this movie. But she's well respected by the Academy. She won for original screenplay for The Piano back in, I believe, 1993. And she went up against Spielberg that year for Schindler's List. So I think this time around, she's going to get it, and Spielberg is going to be left to the way. If it were up to me, I think Steven Spielberg should win this award for his work on West Side Story. But Kenneth Branagh's nothing to slouch at. I was so happy. Raisuke Hamaguchi got nominated for Drive My Car, and that's when I knew. I was like, okay, it's getting Best Picture. And I think he does deserve it. But if I had to bump anybody out of this category, I would say Jane Campion. But realistically, I think that they would have bumped out Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, which I'm glad, obviously, that he got the nomination. But yeah, just terrible, terrible snub that Denis Villeneuve. You should have taken out probably one of them. But then again, I mean, it's just so great to see Paul Thomas Anderson and Raisuke Hamaguchi nominated in the first place. So yeah, that's Best Director. Oh man. There's got to be some justice done for Denis sometime around, because that really is just absolutely blasphemous. And now we get to the most coveted award in the Academy's history, and of course, every year of the Oscar nominations coming out, everybody wants to know, what was nominated for Best Picture? Well, I'm going to tell you. The nominees for the 94th Academy Awards for Best Picture are Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. I just want to say it one more time. So happy Drive My Car made it in. I thought it was going to take the 10th spot. Obviously, the Academy extended it to 10 finally for the first time since 2011. And Drive My Car got in. It got a lot of support across the board, obviously, in some of the biggest categories. And it's really, I mean, if you haven't seen it, guys, it is one of the most beautiful, one of the most cathartic movies I'd seen from last year. I mean, it just left a deep impact on me, and I'm glad it left a deep impact on the voters of the Academy as well. And I'm glad that nudged out movies like Being the Ricardos, because obviously it deserved it way more. But really, the biggest surprise to me was Nightmare Alley, because obviously I put a review on it on my channel here. And, I mean, I guess it makes sense, because Guillermo won for The Shape of Water, which was absolutely, deserving to win that year. It was the one I would have wanted to win, and I was so happy to see it. But really, this is not his best movie, and I'm not really sure exactly, how it got in over like Tick Tick Boom and, movies like that. But I will say right now, I'm going to review all these Best Picture nominees. Obviously, I've already reviewed Belfast, West Side Story, and Nightmare Alley, so that's 3 off the bat. And as I said, I am going to review Licorice Pizza, so you're going to be seeing that in the next couple days. And obviously, that was going to get in, so very happy to see that. Coda, I think, should win this award. And if it were up to me, In the Heights should win, but that wasn't even nominated, because go figure, Oscar campaign. And anyway, I think that Coda absolutely is the feel-good movie of the year, and I think absolutely deserves to take home all these awards. But really, I think it's going to be The Power of the Dog. And obviously, I know I'm sounding like I'm down on this movie. I'm really not. It is very good. And I'll put a review up of it in the next few weeks. But I don't know, like, when I watch that movie, I don't watch it and say, like, oh, this is Best Picture. Like, it doesn't scream cinema to me in the way something like The Shape of Water or Parasite or 12 Years a Slave does. And I don't know. I really don't get it, personally. But it got the most nominations. I believe it got 12 nominations. It really was cleaning up in all the categories, and obviously it's going to win in quite a few of them, and I think Best Picture is going to be it. But really, the thing I love about these nominations is it feels like a complete open race. I mean, you could say Coda could win, you could say Belfast is going to win, you could say West Side Story is going to win, you could say The Power of the Dog is going to win. Those are really the four that I think are probably the most, they have the biggest chance. But even so, I mean, really, I was in a lot of ways pleasantly surprised by the outcome of some of this. And yeah, I mean, Denis got snubbed. Obviously, Catriona Balfe wasn't in there. But yet again, Jared Leto wasn't there. Maybe that's all I really care about. I don't know. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about the Oscar nominations down below. Are you going to be watching come March 27th? And yeah, just be on the lookout for these reviews of these movies that are in this category. I'm going to be going over them and giving you my thoughts on every single one of them that I haven't already. So if you like what I'm doing here, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, really helps me out. I'm going to keep putting out quality content for you guys, even more so than I have before. And still stay on the lookout for my Licorice Pizza review and my next list of the top 10 albums of the 1980s. I'll see you all guys soon.
Drive my car.
Yes! Yes! It happened! It happened! Yeah! Whoa! Yeah, baby! Let's go!